is a threat to development and security. Time for policy change against crime, not in favor of drug. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Nigeria Now. Lois.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
As usual.
As usual. Issues of flood, we keep saying it here, like the nature of the rains this day, even without much cloud, gathering, before you know it, you are out and everywhere is wet, and then the level of the rain, how it takes long, before it subsides, and then by that you already know that definitely there will be a lot of water, flowing from one angle to the other, and then that's what normally generate flood, and then finding out that even the nature of development that is going on these days, people are looking for where to stay so they don't mind. People are blocking waterways, and because of one reason or the other, you find out even the water now is they are looking for,
definitely they will look for channels
to flow, and then at the end of it, we find people like crying, like the issue of Jigawa, over 100 people confirmed dead. That's really sad. That's really sad. And then the issue of Plateau, over 400 houses, sacked. It's alarming. It's alarming.
It's really discouraging sometimes when you see all these things happening. Some people, they've been living in a particular area for some years without them even encountering any kind of flood. Then all of a sudden they will start having these issues. The houses are being flooded because of just what you mentioned, that people have closed waterways, and then definitely water will look for where to pass. It will look for how to pass. So definitely it has to enter someone's house because it doesn't have the particular channel, the proper way to flow. So you see some of these things happening. I know there are some houses that I've heard of those kind of issues happening. That's why I think the urban and regional planners, the surveyors, and all those people the agencies that are in charge of all these things, they should do more. I know the issue of flooding is not just in Nigeria. Even other countries are having issues of hurricane, even more than the flood and all these things. And they are looking for measures to tackle this particular weather or climate disaster, or whatever it is called. But then I think back home, we don't have the issues of hurricane. We don't have all these natural disasters that are so, that we can contain.
Earthquake.
Yes, and all of that. So I think the issue of flooding should be looked upon by the right agencies, and then the government should do more. I think there should be proper planning of a particular area. When you go to some areas, you just wonder, like, what kind of people are actually living here, the residents, like, you wonder. So I think more should be done in this particular area so that we'll have less of this flooding happenings. Like there was an issue I heard of, a child that entered one of these gutters that was not really, it was blocked in a way, and then the child drowned. Imagine if a gutter was passing, the water inside was passing. I don't think it would cause that much havoc like what had happened. So I think even we, the citizens, we should be responsible. Most of these gutters are blocked. We pour dirt and refuse and all of that inside it, and definitely when water comes, it will definitely block it. So we should do that in front of your house. You can, on Saturdays, I know there are Saturdays, mostly end of the month, the last Saturday of the month, there's sanitation in Plateau State. I don't know if up to now people still recognize that particular sanitation day. But I think
it.
Yes, yeah. But then I think it's really good that we observe it more. That I know in those days, by 10 you shouldn't be found out. Before 10 a.m. you shouldn't be found outside. That's the last Saturday of every month, because you need to take care of your environment. So I think if we really do that, it will help a long way.
This is a big call to the government agencies that are responsible for taking care of things like this. I think it's very important. We need to sensitize the citizens on things to do, you know, when it comes to issue of flooding, because there are things that there are measures that you can put in place to really avert, you know, things like that. Because if you look at it, people should not be building in, you know, in waterways. We have an government agency that is government agencies that are responsible, you know, in checkmating all of those things. You know, once you are buying a land and then is a water canal, you know, I think the government, you know, should during approval, you know, even if someone is building, that is even if, you know, someone is building, at least the nature of building will differ. You know, there should be a standard of which, you know, you are to put in place. This is the kind of building you are to build here because of this vulnerability, you know, and the rest. So I didn't see a reason why people should build in waterways. You know, these are some of the things that, you know, when government are saying don't do this, at the end of it, you know, the cry goes back to government, and then like, we need your assistance, you know, everything that we had is being destroyed and the rest, and then everything falls back to government. So these are things that, you know, it can't be it can be averted even from the onset. You know, you do away with building, and then for parents, it is high time, you know, you sensitize the children, educate them, you know, tell them the necessary things to do, and then knowing that if you know you are in low area, low lands, you can just try and see how you can move to the higher ground, and then see when the rain, you know, subside, and then
like, I really see a need for those kind of people staying around those areas to really shift from, like, move to the higher grounds. I remember a particular time when in my area, there's a river somewhere around. So this particular people were living, they built their house down the low area. And then one particular rainy season, the whole house was full, like to the roof.
Wow.
And then they had to evacuate that land. Like they just left because at the end of the day, the building collapsed. But when you go there, you still find some people are still living very close to the river. So I don't know how they are coping anyways, because every rainy season, you hear them complaining, all of that. But then it's really necessary that it's not by force that you have to live in that area. Just look for somewhere for your own safety and the safety of your children.
Yes.
That's what you should look out for, not the fact that you want to live I don't know what is in their head, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not advisable.
Yeah, you're right. You know, Akpabio loses out. And then, survives, rather, Lawrence. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Yes.
I was like, okay. Yeah, Akpabio survived Lawan's. Well, I know there was a time we talked about all these things, and then we saw that these people did not in the first place buy the ticket for that particular position that they are now vying into. And there were people that were there, and some said they had placeholders that, okay, when I'm done with this particular position I'm holding, you're going to evacuate that position for me because I gave you to hold it for the meantime. And then we said a lot of things about this particular issue, that okay, it's not your personal seat, but whatever agreement they had with the people that were the placeholders, I think, well, the court has ruled to their favor, right? And now they can actually be they can run for that particular office and people can vote for them. So
well, INEC have cleared them, you know, because the final list is out, you know, and then you see some lists, you know, coming out, even though there was doubt whether those people will make that INEC list, the final list of who are going to contest, you know, and 18 of the presidential, you know, were cleared, and then 4,233 National Assembly candidates, you know, that 2023 is going to be a dramatic one, in the sense that, you know, is going to be so interesting that you would love to see the seasons, you know, unfolding. Like Obaseki was saying, he said Nigerians will shock parties and politicians. Yes, he made that statement. And I agree with him, because, you know, only someone that understands the move of how the country is going that can say such statement. I just believe that others will see it that way. And I pray that at the end of it, the real people that we need to govern this country will emerge.
That's
You
just
know, so that
the
we'll
prayer.
see like leaders that are putting priority. You know, leaders that are patriotic when it comes to the national unity, national development. You know, and the rest. Well, we had a very, very, very big milestone when it comes to the history of drug fight in Nigeria. I see it not even in the Nigerian context, but I see it globally.
Yes.
You know, it's really a milestone for one of our agency in Nigeria, the
NDLEA.
NDLEA. You know, just of a recent, they were able to uncover a house stocked with tons of cocaine.
You know, it's I know it's this issue of drugs is a global issue. Like it's a global menace, and then the whole world is fighting against the issue of drug abuse and all of that. And then this is not the first time the NDLEA, even last year, they were able to find out or discover some of those warehouses. But I think this is like a massive one, and like you said, it's not just a national issue, but it's like a global achievement. Yes. So I really applaud them in this. They have really done well in doing some of these things. You know, the issue of drugs, you can't just understand it, because the more measures are being put in place to curb this menace, it still spreads. I was reading something and someone said, with all the measures that the world is giving out to control the issue of drugs, has it changed? Has it reduced? But then someone said it has reduced because of some of the international measures. You know, for Nigeria, when you go for people that have gone to the airport to travel abroad, you know the kind of intense scrutiny you go through because they've seen Nigeria as, you know, whatever they are seeing it as. So when you go there, the kind of intense checking you go through, you know, some people call it, they feel it's humiliating how they go through all those things just because they see Nigerians to be criminals, to be drugs and all of that. But then I see that the NDLEA is giving us a different name, as far as I'm concerned, in the international community, that, okay, this is what we can do in this country. For them to go as far as to do this thing, I think it's a plus to the nation.
Yeah, I checked the statistics, and then it's really alarming. And Lois, I checked the amount, and I was trying to say, okay, if these people can make this arrest, is it our normal Nigerian NDLEA, or they imported some people from United States? You know, because when you hear about swift, intelligent, like, let me say everything like on point when it comes to operation, sometimes you hardly don't relate it with our agencies, whether police, whether DSS, whether it's difficult. Do you know why? It's not that it's not happening, but the negativity surrounding them didn't even give you like that opening to see it like it's possible. And Lois, the what they discover is 1.8 tons. That's what they discovered. That is a 1,855 kilograms of illicit drug worth at 278,250 US dollars. If you convert it to Nigerian money, is about 194.7 billion naira. That means these guys that went for that arrest can be paid
Sorted
off,
out.
can be sorted out. And you know, you talked about the globe is fighting seriously, you know, concerning this issue of drugs. And then just imagine without those treaties, without those global laws, you just imagine what would have happened to the entire world. With these measures, look at how these guys are smart and they always find their way, like just to push these things. And then I sat down and I was asking myself, I said, that means in this country, unless if we don't want something to happen.
Definitely.
This is just one agency that, you know, I would say it has proven herself worthy. Because if you check the history of NDLEA, the arrest, you remember the issue of Abakari? You know, when people were singing all kind of praises and the rest, like NDLEA want to blackmail the guy because the guy is doing well and the rest. There and behold, a video came out. So many things begin to like, and then people are like, wow, so you mean these people are working this way?
Together.
And then these are people that you applaud them. These are people that deserve national honor. Because these barons, they have the money. When you talk about money, because they push these drugs, they get money, and they put this money in some businesses. And you think those businesses are the ones giving them such money that they spend anyhow that they want, not knowing that, you know, they are into some dirty job. And then look at these guys that went for this arrest. Believe you me, they can be cornered and said, what do you want? We can settle you for life. You can just do this job as by the way. And believe me, they can do it because they have the money. And that's the reason why, because of the amount of money these guys are in control, it is even difficult because sometimes you find them even competing with the government. Like when you talk about resources, because it's with the money you run things, as they said, you know.
Money runs the world.
Yes. So as government, you are talking about borrowing and 40 something or 400 and something billion naira. Somebody is bragging of trillion. That means he can borrow the country money. So people like that, how can you checkmate that? How can you pin them down? It is difficult. So we want to say kudos to NDLEA. We really salute the Oga Kwata Kwata, like we always, like we say here in Nigeria, the boss, you know, retired General Buba Marwa. If you check his record, this is someone that he's dogged. Check his antecedent when he was a military administrator of Lagos State. He was the one that put Lagos on track.
Yes.
Because at a point, Lagos was just losing it. When you talk about Agberus, you talk about all kinds of dirty things, you know, dealings in Lagos. But when he came, you know, he brought law and order that when democracy came, it was easy for them to really build on that. And these are kind of the leaders that we want. If you say some of these agencies are not working and you ask yourself, why is NDLEA achieving this thing? Because to a point, the Mr. President had to call him from New York to congratulate him. So many people have been congratulating him, like the Speaker of House of Reps. You know, people have just been applauding him because to the globe, it's really an achievement. Just imagine this amount of drop. But the question that I ask, Lois, where does these things come from? How did it enter this country? Are we the people that produce it?
Put in place.
Where are the customs? Where are the immigrations? I keep asking, where are the police? Where are they?
You know, you just like you rightly mentioned, there's nothing Nigeria. If if we put our mind to achieve something, there's nothing we can't achieve because we have the set resources for us to achieve those things. So when you see some of those things happening, it's because there are people that at the top, they are there, they're involved in all these things. Remember when you talked about Abba Kyari, when he was bringing out all those culprits and all of that, and people, he was even tagged the Super Cup and all of that, not knowing that he was also, you know, at the corner doing his own shady things. You know, so at the end of the day, you find out that these people don't just work on their own. There are people behind the scenes that are pushing these things to up out there. And at the end of the day, they are the ones, those people that the common people are the ones at the receiving end, while those ones, they are just there. And then I just hope that this will not be part of those stories that we'll just not hear anything about it, because we are fond of doing that in this country. But we want that at the end of the day, we'll hear something just as positive as this is. We hear that those people were done, this is what has been done to these people, and so that even those that are still in the business will know that, okay, if you are being caught, you'll not just be let loose, you won't be set free in very soon, but you will definitely face the wrath of the law. So at the end of the day, I want to see all these things pushed out, and this issue of drugs is becoming is really terrible, because out there, when you see people that are addicted to it, you will wonder, like, what is this thing all about? When you see people, they become useless to themselves, useless to their families, and useless to the whole society at large. So that's why I think even the globe is fighting against the issue of drugs, because like I think this morning I saw somebody, he was just, and I feel it's because of drugs that he was behaving that way. You know, when you see someone with a very bright future and because of drugs, and sometimes even the rehabilitation centers are not even helping us, because when they go there, they even become worse. So I think we should try as much as possible. I know the NDLEA have done really well in this part, but there are other things that need to be done for this menace to be really curbed to a very minimal level, so that our youth, because most times when you look at it, the youth are at the detriment of all these things. So I know there was a time that they had to stop some of these drugs like tramadol, you know, codeine and all of that, because of how the intake was massive. And so I think some of these things that they are doing now, as they have done, it should be done still, so that more of the issues of drugs will be tackled.
Yeah, I think they need encouragement. I want to say that this is a time that Nigerians will all come out, you know, rally around, you know, these people, you know, encourage them, give them all the support that they need, you know, because it's not easy when you particularly, you know, dealing with drug barons. You know, they have the money, they can influence you, they can buy your conscience, they don't care, because the money is there. I just feel nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. The moment we all agree that we will do the right thing, it is possible. But when people like that are working, I think Nigerians should all rally around, you know, those people, you know, encourage them, because they need our encouragement, so that they will know that they are doing well. I want to see a situation whereby these people that are involved in this particular operation will be given national honor, seeing, you know, awards coming from all over, you know, the world. You know, I think it's something that the UN need to recognize this people for this great work that is impossible. It's just for us to say we'll do it. And then if you look at it, it comes with leadership.
Yes.
Until the leader says, yes, this thing is possible, this thing is achievable, let's all go out and do it. Let's stand out. Let's stand out. I think that's the word. In the midst of things going wrong, and you are given a responsibility, stand out. Prove the world that yes, you can be different. You cannot just be bought, and then you cannot just be regular. You know, it's so to say, you cannot just be regular. So, like other agencies that we have in this country, if you are saddled with the responsibility to handle the issue of education, please do it well. Do it as how it is obtainable globally. You know, if wherever you are being given, just do your part. I think by so doing, Nigeria will all be great. Just imagine that what is happening in NDLEA is being replicated, all over, the MDAs and ministries that we have. Then everybody will put his head high and then be proud of his country.
Definitely.
And
you see the fact that this particular operation has been they trailed it since 2018. They didn't just wake up and start trailing it. But I think more enthusiasm should be put in some of these ministries that you've mentioned. They should put their best. Like when you are given an opportunity to do what you want to, put in your best and be the best in it. I think it will curb some of these issues that we have in this country. We want to see one day we wake up to good news every day. We tell Nigerians, okay, this is what this ministry has done. They should be applauded. They should be awarded for it, just like the NDLEA. So this is what we want in this country, that things will be done differently, and we'll hear more of good news, right, other than the sad ones we always wake up to every morning.
New Nigeria is possible. As long as me and you agree to do the right thing, it is possible. Lois, thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and for the viewer out there, whatever you find your hands doing, just be faithful, and remember that God is involved. Thank you for joining us. Keep watching ECWA Television International.